I've just had another Dahlia delivery, but this one is a little bit different. So these haven't come as tubers, they've come as young plants or little mini plants that the grower has started off themselves. So in this video today, I'm going to show you exactly what I do with them at this stage, how I pot them up and how I look after them while it's still too cold to plant them outside, and how I grow them on. And I'm also going to talk you through the varieties that I've ordered, because there are some really special ones and I want to share them with you. So let's get started by telling you what I'm going to use. I am going to pot them up into these 12 centimetre containers. Now these are just pots that plants that I've bought in the past have arrived in, and I'm going to reuse them, try to be environmentally friendly, but also they're just a really good size. These are 12 centimetre pots, and the supplier says that we can pot these up into either 9 centimetre or 12 centimetre containers. Again, we don't want to put them in anything too big, because as I've said in previous videos, if we put them in something too big, then that allows maybe there to be too much moisture around the roots, and then plants can rot. So we don't want to overwater them. And I am going to be using ordinary multi-purpose peat-free compost, and I'll put a link in the description below which one I use. I really do like it. It's endorsed by the RHS, but it is really nice peat-free compost. If you're looking for a good one, this is the one I use. We buy them in big bulk loads on pallets. Obviously there's no need for you to do that, but if you can find it in your local garden centre, then this is one that I find it's full of all the nutrients, it's got a really nice structure, and my plants do really well in it. So why don't we start with showing you what these little mini plants look like. Each one comes individually wrapped in paper, and it comes with a plant tag to tell you which one it is. Super useful. I have already written my own plant tags, so I've written them all here, and this is what the little mini plants look like. And you can see that they're really well rooted, and they've got a really nice set of foliage. Now this one's a little bit bent because, in all honesty, I've had it in this box for a day until I could pot them up, and really we should pot them up the day they arrive. But you can see it's just got really nice roots, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of leaves already. And here's another one. They are slightly bent because they've been looking for the light for a day or two whilst they're in transit, but they will straighten out. I'm not at all worried about that. And in fact, I'm going to pinch them anyway eventually, so it really doesn't matter. But you can see there's really nice root systems. These are really, really good quality cuttings. So what I'm going to do is show you how I pot a couple of these up, and then I'll talk you through the different varieties I've got. So as I said, this is multi-purpose peat-free compost, and what we want to do with the cuttings is we want to make sure that the compost is at the same level. So where the cutting has got compost up to, that's the exact level that I'm going to pot them up to in these containers. Now you can see how small this root is, and that's why we don't want to put them into enormous containers, because they will just suffer and sulk. So I need this a little bit higher. Don't pack it down too tightly, but just make sure that the root ball has got good contact with the compost, and it's as simple as that. And put your tag in. I will put my own tags in later. I've got them all in alphabetical order, whereas this box does not have them in alphabetical order. That's what I found in the past anyway. So if you haven't taken delivery of cuttings before or seen how dahlias grow, I just wanted to explain a little bit about the root system. So these little white roots that we can see here, all the little white roots, these are what the plant uses to draw up moisture and what the plant uses to take in nutrition. So these are vital. These little white roots are absolutely vital, just with any other plant. And the tubers themselves are starch. And you're probably wondering, whether if you buy a cutting like this, how are we going to be able to grow this on next year if we don't have a tuber? Well, that's the joy. So these little plants, these tiny little mini plants, almost from the very beginning, are already trying to create these storage tubers. The storage is the starch, it feeds the plant. I found one already that is already growing little tubers, and these tubers will obviously get bigger over the season, but all these little mini plants are going to be creating tubers through the growing season, and then when we dig them up come the winter or autumn, we'll see normal sized tubers on all of these plants, and we'll be able to store them and keep them and grow them again next year. So this one here is already creating tubers. So there's a tuber here and there's another little one forming just here. So they're already, even at this size, creating tubers. And this is why having cuttings is no different to buying tubers, except that we've already got them at this stage. Now, obviously with cuttings, we've got to protect these in the same way that we would protect any other new plant. These have been grown on undercover by the growers, so they've not been exposed to the outdoor weather. They've been protected, but even so, they're very small plants. So we wouldn't want to put this straight outside in all weathers, because these tender little leaves, well, first of all, they get munched by the slugs and snails for sure, but also they're just a bit too tender. We don't want them to get scorched by the sun or pelted by hail or anything else like that. So if your temperatures aren't warm enough, these need to be grown on in a greenhouse or in a cold frame, somewhere protected. I'm going to do what I always do with these cuttings, and I find it really hard to explain exactly what I do, except to say that it's a lot of work. So what I do, because I don't have a greenhouse, is I pot these up, water them in, and then I will treat them the same way I'm treating my other seedlings that I'm hardening off, and all the dahlias that I've been bringing on myself, all the tubers that I've potted up, once they've got little leaves, I take them outside during the day and I bring them inside at night. So they're only outside in the warmer weather. I don't care if it rains, like that's not a problem, but they really do need to be sort of above 10 degrees, especially these cuttings. They need some protection initially until they're hardened off a little bit. Like in a week, these will be hardened off sufficiently to go out in the early morning when maybe it's, sort of 7 or 8 degrees. These are the temperatures we're having here, and I'm talking about centigrade or Celsius. For me, I am able to leave these outside during the day, bring them in at night, and it is a lot of work because then I've got to, just make the effort to go out there and bring them in before it gets too cold. But they're getting the benefit of full sunshine during the day and the warmth, and it is quite warm. It's a little bit windy at the moment, but it's a lovely temperature. It's over 10 degrees during the day, so I just need to make sure that when I put them out in the morning that the temperature is sufficiently warm enough, or they need to wait a little bit before I put them outside. I've got trolleys that I use to sort of take a little bit of the heavy lifting away from doing all of this, because I do it to all my seedlings and all of my dahlias. But until they're big enough to go outside and sufficiently hardened off, I would never leave them outside at night, and definitely not when they're this small, because the slugs and snails will definitely get them. They just hunt them out. I don't know how they find them, but they'll find them. This is what I do, but if you have a greenhouse, then these will benefit from being in the greenhouse until they're bigger, and then they just need hardening off in the same way that we harden off any other plants. The other thing I wanted to mention with cuttings is that they are going to produce just as large a plant with as many flowers as you would normally expect from the dahlias where you're buying tubers. So it's just the same as having one tuber to take delivery of cuttings, they will still produce flowers this season and they will produce tubers, so they're going to work really hard, so make sure you feed them. But they are going to be glorious dahlia plants throughout the season. We'll get flowers from them, we'll get flowers for years to come. So I really do believe if you can find a good supplier who can provide you with really good quality cuttings, then this is a fantastic way to get some unusual varieties. I am going to go through the different varieties of dahlias that I've taken delivery of today. So some of these dahlias I have grown before, and if I have, I'll show you what they look like in my garden. I'll pop a video up on the screen so you can see what they look like and possibly why I've reordered them, because I love them. What I'll also do is pop the height that the plant grows to and the flower size up on the screen. So FS means flower size, and I think that's really important to have that information. I really like to have that information. If I haven't been able to find out what the flower size is, then it's just going to be blank. But I'll pop that up on the screen so I don't have to read that out for you. Just going off my order form here, the first one I've got is Amy Cave, which I love. I've had this before. It's a perfect reddy maroon colour in a lovely ball shape. I've got Asquith Mini, which is a decorative dahlia, and it's just this gorgeous sort of sugary pink colour. I'm really looking forward to have that one. It does look like it's sort of maybe 12 centimetres, but I've got no information about the size of that flower. The next one I've got is Barbary Pip, which is a mini decorative, which means that it's a decorative dahlia with much smaller flowers, 7 centimetres I think this one is, and it's sort of a ball shape, but it is a decorative dahlia, and it's a lovely red maroon colour. And I've got Creme de Cassis, which I have had before. It was many years ago and I really love it. It's the sort of cool lilac colour, and then the undersides of the petals are a deeper purple and the centre of the flower is a deeper purple. It's really attractive. I think it's quite short. Yes, only 70 centimetres, and I think that's why I got rid of it, because I was putting all my shorter dahlias into pots, but I've now decided I want shorter dahlias in my borders. So I've reordered this one because it's gorgeous. Then I've got Down and Peggy. Down and Peggy is this one of these smallish pom-pom varieties. It's a gorgeous dusky purple colour, and it has got sort of a deeper colour at the centre to it, but it's quite small again, 7 centimetres or 3 inches, but it really is lovely. Then I have ordered some of my all-time favourites, Edith Jones. Now Edith Jones is the most gorgeous collarette dahlia. I can't tell you how much I love it, but the reason I'm ordering more is because I'm not finding that I'm able to divide the tubers as much as I'd like, and I want more Edith Jones. So Edith Jones is just the most perfect soft raspberry red. Sometimes there's like a little gentle streak to the petals. It really is fabulous, and the bees love this dahlia, they really do. Then I've got a really intense deep burgundy. This one is called George Marston, although I do think some people call it Marston George, and it's another mini decorative one, so it's got small little flowers. It looks fantastic. I've not had this one before. Then I've ordered some more Jerry Hoke, another one of my favourites. This is the most perfect water lily dahlia. It really is gorgeous. Last year some of my plants looked like they were suffering a bit, so I wanted to make sure I had Jerry Hoke this season because it is one of my favourite. It is the most gorgeous sort of light pink with yellow towards the centre, but because of this beautiful graceful water lily shape, it just really is so attractive. Then I've got Hadrian's Desire. This is new to me this year, and I think it was a new dahlia last year in 2025, so I found it really difficult to find any pictures online, but it looks to be really bright pink with like a white collar. It's a gorgeous collarette dahlia, and I'm really looking forward to growing this one. Then I've got another one of my favourites. This is Josudi Andromeda. This took my breath away actually when I first saw it, because they're quite little flowers, about 9 centimetres, but it's just the most gorgeous mini cactus. It really is amazing. It's this soft blushy pinky lavender colour with a darker centre, and I've got one plant, and when I grew it last year I really loved it, so I've got another one of those. I've also got Nadia Ruth. Now I've ordered Nadia Ruth in the past, I think, as a tuber, and it wasn't Nadia Ruth when when it arrived. So I've ordered Nadia Ruth as a cutting, and I do trust this supplier, so I know that I'll get some Nadia Ruth. It's one of those fimbriated dahlias, so it's just really fun. It's like fluffy and wild looking, and it's sort of a pinky apricot colour. I'm really excited about having this particular dahlia. Then I've got Normandy Wedding Day, and I've had one tuber of Normandy Wedding Day in the past, and I have not been able to divide it, and in fact I don't think I've got it anymore. But Normandy Wedding Day is another fimbriated dahlia, so another sort of fluffy wild looking dahlia. This one's much paler than Nadia Ruth, and it's sort of white with the palest soft pink lavendery blush. Then I've got Polverton Christabel. This really, I mean, I'm saying all of these are my favourites, but Polverton Christabel is spectacular actually. It's a gorgeous pink dahlia with sort of gold tips and edges to all the petals, so it kind of sparkles. It really is very pretty. It's not plain, it's kind of a standout dahlia. This is another mini decorative, so the flowers aren't huge but they are beautiful. Then I've got Rhonda, which is the sweetest little pom-pom dahlia. It's really tiny, but it's such a cute lilac and white blend. I really love it. It's only about 5 centimetres, these flowers, so maybe 2 inches. I've also ordered Thea Rose, which is a really special water lily dahlia in the coolest pinky mauve. It fades to a creamy sort of buttermilk at the centre, and the petals have got a darker sort of veining to them. And then the last one in this delivery is Westerton Pearl, another one that I really love. I would describe it as sort of a strawberry ice cream colour with sort of dusky apricot undertones to it. Now that I've potted them up, I am going to water them in. It's really important to water them in, and I know that a lot of people might be scared about overwatering dahlias, but these plants really need to be watered in properly to make sure that all those roots have got really good contact with the soil, and then I will keep an eye on the watering just by doing the finger test. You just push your finger about an inch or two into the compost to check whether it is still damp. If it's still damp, you don't need to water them. If it's drying out, a little bit crumbly, then give them a water. So behind me here is where I harden everything off. This is just our patio, and we've got some steps here, and I just line everything up on the steps. So during the day, this is where I'm going to keep the cuttings, and then at night I'm going to put them on a trolley and wheel them inside, and they'll live in our kitchen overnight until the next morning when it's warm enough to bring them out. And I will do that until they're bigger and stronger, and I will keep you informed of what I'm doing. I will be doing updates throughout the season to show you how everything's doing, so do subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss those updates. But this is what I do with the cuttings, and this works really well for me. But if you've got a greenhouse, then that's a really good spot for your cuttings at the moment until the weather warms up, and definitely until our last frost has passed. It has been raining on and off on me all day, so this is where I'm going to end the video for today. I really hope you've enjoyed watching me pot up the cuttings and learning which varieties I've chosen. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.